It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda business starts here. So welcome to Mind Your Business. Of course, I'm your host, Jamillah Lodge, and I'm pleased to have you both here, Kenyatta Turker and Olatunji Turker. I say Ola. Is it Ola?
It actually is both.
Okay, so which would you prefer?
So today I prefer Tunji.
Okay, Tunji. So today we're going to talk about your business, Funky Bros Collectibles, and I see some samples here, which I'm really excited about. But we want to talk firstly about yourselves and a little background information, and then we'll get into the good stuff. So I'll start with you, Kenyatta.
Okay, we can start with me. So really my passion for collectibles didn't really start with Funkos. Funkos are more of a new thing.
Oh, yeah.
So as a kid, I was a comic book geek, and my brother too was a comic book geek, but I don't speak for him. I'll speak for just for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened, I was like a Marvel, DC kind of guy, and my friends
Marvel and DC.
Marvel and DC, more so Marvel,
Okay.
but Marvel and DC. And so there was a comic book store called Heroes for Hire on Princess Street, and so from a young age, just from I would say maybe about 7, 8 years old, give or take. I used to go there. I used to pack groceries or ask my mom for some money, go there, buy comic books, and I used to read the comic books religiously. So as I got older, kind of comic books kind of phased out a bit. And of course, as you grow up, you tend to do more adulting, right? But the passion to always collect was still there. So initially I said, you know what, let me kind of get it back up where people start to collect comic books and see what that looks like. Unfortunately, the desire really for books isn't as much there because people now are more into technology.
Yeah.
However, what I did recognize is that people who read comic books overseas had a thing for these figurines. And the people that did buy the comic books in Bermuda, when I was selling comic books on Facebook Marketplace, they saw that, hey, like, do you have this character and this character? So when I looked into it, the Funkos popped up. And then that kind of just branched out because Funkos are in every walk of life.
They are.
So that's what kind of got me started from there to where I am now.
Okay.
So
your turn.
And then there's the other side.
Yes.
So with my brother, so my brother and I are 2 years apart.
Okay.
Right. He's actually the older one. I'm the bigger one.
I have one of those in my household.
So we would actually go to Heroes of Hire together. He was Marvel DC. I was actually anime.
Okay.
And I have been a lover of anime. I could say that my favorite books from them, which would have been like 1989. That's how old I am. It was like Alita Battle Angel, and it was ElfQuest. I collected every single manga of this, every single comic book, and then of course I became an adult. I never stopped watching anime. To this day, I could tell you that if I had a choice between going out and watching some anime, I am going to pop a bowl of popcorn and watch some anime. And also call my brother while I'm watching it. So it was about a year ago. My brother's a very giving person. So he's actually very, very sweet. I work a lot, so he said, okay, you know what, I'm going to do something special for you. So he brought me a Funko. And because I watch anime, he brought me like Squirtle. Everyone knows Squirtle.
Everyone knows Squirtle?
From Pokemon, everyone knows Squirtle.
Okay.
Squirtle.
Which one is that?
It is the blue turtle.
Oh, yes,
the blue turtle, the water
turtle.
turtle.
I didn't know his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Well, I love Squirtle, and I love a lot of thing about the character is its personality. It's fun-loving, silly, likes jokes, and it resonates with me.
Okay.
So my brother brought that to me, and it literally made my day. Because it was just what I needed for that day.
Yeah.
And so then we were looking at like a year later, my brother, he was talking about this business, he was talking about comics, and I said, of course I work in marketing. So I said, sure, no problem. Here's some tips. Here's some things I can actually do for you. Absolutely, I'll do anything for you as a brother. And then he said, well, we're doing this together. And I said,
okay.
And that was it. And that's how it started.
I love that. And so how long ago was that from idea to like actually saying, okay, we're going to do this? What was the time frame?
I would say maybe about 2 years.
2 years? Okay.
Yeah. So initially with the comic book thing, it was placing the orders, getting the supply of comic books in because I didn't know what it would look like because there are different types of comics. You have different genres. You even have anime that's in a comic book format. You might have realistic comic books. You might have a comic book based on a TV series. You know, and then some people are professional collectors, so they might want the graded stuff, which is a lot more expensive. So of course it takes time to bring it in, and naturally in Bermuda.
What does the graded stuff mean?
So graded, you would have a standard. I wish I brought comic books with me so I could show you, but we only have the Funkers for now.
Yeah.
But basically, let's say you had Archie.
Yes.
Everybody used to read the Archie comic books. What somebody would do, they would send it to a company called CGC or CBCS. There's two of the bigger ones that grade. And what they would do, they would have a specialist come in and look at the quality of the book. Are there any roughed edges? Is there any dyeing of the actual color on the cover or back? Are there any missing pages, missing chunks of the book? And so what they would then do is say, okay, based on this, I'll grade it at the maximum you can get is a 10. A 10 is like a flawless book, right? And then they would actually put it in a hard plastic slab and then actually ship it out to the person. So the collector will pay about, give or take, $30 to $50 to get it graded. But then the value of it more than quadruples, depending on the quality of the book.
So that means you cannot read that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The only thing you as a collector would probably do is say, you know what, they unfairly graded my book. You'll break open the hard plastic slab and get it regraded. But that comes with a risk. They can downgrade it or they can upgrade it or leave it the same. But for somebody who's a passionate collector, the value of it, because of how much it goes up, like if somebody gives you anything from a 9.0 to a 10, it's going to easily quadruple in price.
Okay, so help me. Okay.
Yep.
Because I'm thinking you love comic books because you like to read them, right? So you have to buy two then, right?
That's correct.
You read one and then you grade the other one.
So theoretically, yes. For a collector, it would be different. A collector might say, you know what, I'll purchase about 5 or 10 of them.
Oh.
Because some comic books, have like a first appearance of an individual or a special appearance or something about that book makes it rare.
Special, yeah.
Right? So what you want to do is say, well, I know in 5 to 10, 20 years, that book's gonna skyrocket in value. Because this individual, Netflix is infamous for it. You might have Green Arrow.
Yes.
Green Arrow comes out on Netflix. All of a sudden now everybody wants Green Arrow, right? So a collector would say, you know what? I have the first appearance of Green Arrow. Actually, I have about 5 or 6 issues of it, and I'll get all of these professionally graded. Now, when it comes out on Netflix, everybody wants a comic book, and they're willing to pay the premium price for it.
Okay.
So it's a bit of forward thinking for someone who's a collector. For a seller would turn around and say, well, I need to order more copies.
Right, because people are going to be ordering more of that.
Exactly. So it's that kind of thing. But for somebody as the common person, you just want to read it. Like Archie books, most people just say, I want to read about Archie, Betty, Veronica. So you'll go through those and not even think about, okay, well, I should be a collector. I should keep these for when my kids get
No, I wouldn't think that. I used to like reading comic books. My best friend growing up, her brothers had comic books, and I'd sneak into their room and I'd read all the comic books. And my husband loves comic books. Like whenever we would travel, we would go, and I'd just sit there, and he'd be going.
But that's the thing. So when we were younger, too. That was the whole thing about, like, we would get hundreds of books.
Yeah.
And we would read all the books. And so we would have them to remind us of what they were, and we would keep them in pretty boxes all together. If we had kept all of those comics from
Where are they?
Well, we've moved so many different times.
Right.
Life happens, so you start to give them away.
Yeah.
Between the ages of like 18 to 25, you go through so many different life changes.
Yeah.
So the values of the things that you had when you were younger, you're not thinking that way.
Could
and
be
that's
valuable.
where, a better education comes of us too. Because if we had kept all those, if we had sent those away to get graded, it would have been crazy, the amount, because we had hundreds each.
Right.
So guys, if for those of you guys that do comic books and funkers right now, do not throw things away. Look at the value in everything that you have.
Okay, so the same thing applies to the Funkos as well. Don't open them. So just buy them and grade them.
So this is a two-part.
Okay.
So this is a two-part, right? So we're Funky Bro Collectibles, right? But it doesn't always mean that the actual Funko is just a collectible. It depends on how it resonates with you.
Right.
So like, let's say the Funko that my brother got for me, the Squirtle.
Yeah.
I have that sitting in a box in my office because I truly value it. I actually have no concern about the actual value.
Right.
It could have a value, but it actually makes me feel
Because it's
special.
priceless for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then also kids, a lot of times, it could be something where like you might see something from Disney. And you know what, your kid's like, I just really want to play with it. Hey, it can be a toy for them. It can be a collectible for you. It all depends. Some are years old, and then you might want to collect those ones for yourself because you're a collector. But it doesn't mean that anybody, it's Funkos are for everybody. Comics are actually for everybody. It's just two different or three different types of people. You have your people that are collectors, the people that actually want joy, and the people that just say, hey, I maybe like something that's a specific color.
Yeah.
Or just a specific show.
So you mentioned you're an anime fan.
100%.
You do Marvel and DC. So how do you decide what to bring in? Because you're not just bringing in things for yourselves. You're bringing things in for the public or your clients. So how do you pick? How do you decide? It's so much stuff.
So I'll start now. I'll let Tunji kind of go from there and piggyback off of it. So for me personally, I tend to gauge people around me, asking different age groups, because you find that while for us, we will be more inclined, like for me, my age group looked at Ninja Turtles. I used to love rap. Well, I love rap. So like Biggie Smalls was big for me. So I would be more inclined to want something like that. But kids now, anime is humongous.
Okay.
So it's understanding the different types of anime characters and shows that are out. Like, yes, Tunji knows quite a lot, but there are even some that even Tunji wouldn't know that the young demographic might be inclined to get. And then also like the older groups, like what do they want? So it's kind of asking your audience what do they like, but then also you want to kind of bring in some samples of small things because some things Bermudians are fickle, right? So it might be something where you say, you know what, they're not going to want it.
Right.
And you would say, it's not going to sell, but let's just see if there's any desire. And then, then you find like multiple people come in and asking for it. Like we've had people come in and ask for NASCAR, F1. Like,
okay.
Things you would never expect.
That's not even something that even had crossed my mind at any point in time. For us, we were thinking, well, yeah, because we have sport funkers as well. So, okay, we thought, well, Bermudians love NFL when it's Super Bowl time. They go crazy. But yet the NFL characters have sold slower, actually.
Right.
Than some of the other characters. Like, when it comes to R&B, like Aaliyah has been in high demand.
Okay.
We actually have TLC, which we thought, TLC would have sold.
So, yeah.
And funny enough, the demand for like a Mariah Carey has been higher than a TLC. And so it's just gauging really from your buyers, what do they want? And listening, taking down notes and saying, okay, well, now that that's what they've requested, let's see if we can probably up it a bit, get that and a little extra just to see what their desire looks like.
So in terms of like the trends, so I'm sure they're like global trends. And then you have to kind of break it down for Bermuda because the desires and wants may be different. But how do you stay on top of those like global trends?
So because so that's more so on, I guess, on my side. So because of what I actually do for work, so I work in marketing, and I've worked in marketing for, I'm gonna say, 25 years. One of the biggest things for us is, it's just research. So your brain can never actually shut off on exactly what's happening. So every time that you see something actually come out, every time there's a new show out, every time that you're seeing, the streams of an artist, you're listing those things together, and then you're basically putting it into a chat and saying, you know what, maybe this actually works. How positive are they? How positive are they in Bermuda? And so when you start to consolidate all those things together, you're like, okay, this is exactly what spring looks like. Spring's going to be very, very colorful. Throwbacks is a huge one for us because everything has actually gone in a circle now. And as we know, when it comes to...
It's true, right? I'm looking at... I'm like... I was wearing that.
Right. I was like, imagine that, like right now, Masters of the Universe, He-Man. We all grew up on He-Man in like, that was the early 80s. There's a He-Man, Masters of the Universe is being released. The trailer's released this week. So that's a big thing. So we know that in the next 4 months, Masters of the Universe is probably going to be huge.
Right.
Street Fighter, we both grew up playing Street Fighter. We love Street Fighter. I played it last night. But Street Fighter is huge. So 50 cents in Street Fighter. The new music coming. See, so here we go. So that's the thing about product research. You're like, okay, now we automatically know that you have your main characters, but now they've actually added on somebody who's super mainstream. That means demand. the next thing that's going to happen, I can guarantee you, he played Balrog, which is the boxer.
Yeah.
We all love boxers. Guess what? It's going to be in, I would say, 5 months. Everyone's going to want a Balrog.
Okay.
It's just what happens like that. So a lot of it is about product research and just making sure that you, yes, Bermudians are, we're definitely different because we love options. So that is one of the things that's with us as well. I think a lot of times when people look at products here, that is the one thing. You need to have a wide range of products.
Talking about that, so I'm just hearing dollar signs, like the cash registers, the ching ching, because the cost to provide all of those options, and that we have to ship everything in. I'm sure that can be, quite
pricey.
Yeah, pricey. So how do you manage that? Because you have to kind of toe the line between providing all of these options, but still managing the bottom line, right?
Right. And so you actually beat me too, because I was going to say that the biggest challenge we've had has been shipping. From a comic book standpoint, because we do sell Funkos and comics.
Right.
It's just that the weather permitting, it was a bit harder to bring books because they might get wet.
Right.
But with bringing in books, they're duty free. So the books tend to be a bit easier to manage.
Okay.
Because you're just worrying about the shipping to Bermuda. You don't have to worry about the duty once it gets here. And then even when it comes to those individuals that buy comic books, they're willing to spend a lot more for the comic book, because most people that are buying the books are more so the collectors more than the readers. Now, with Funkos, it has been a challenge because my brother and I, while yes, we're trying to start the business, the whole point is not necessarily because we're trying to just drive profits and make money off of this. Because we have a passion for it. We're just trying to share it with the island and give people something different from what they've been exposed to date. So it's been tough because my brother and I are actually going through the exercise of looking and saying, okay, well, what quantity do we have to order? What price point do we have to give it at in order for it to at minimum break even?
Yeah.
Because while I'm doing this out of right now,
I was gonna say, excuse me, sir. You're not running a charity.
Exactly. I already am a part of a couple charities. I don't need another one. But the reality is that right now we acknowledge that even at the very onset of any business, you're gonna at times take a loss.
Yes, initially.
So we're looking at, okay, well, what shipping providers can we go through? Because of course the duty in Bermuda is never going to change. I think it's 25% right now. So that has been the challenge, because ultimately you don't want to bring in a product that when its prices, then you can't sell it.
You can't sell it because it's not priced for the market, right?
Exactly. So our price point so far to date has been between per Funko range between $15 to about $30.
Okay.
Depending on the value of the item before we purchase the item. Some can be a bit more pricey because of specific collectors items for Funko heads, where they want something that's in a hard case, potentially graded. That's going to come at a much higher price point.
And also then there's the different size options.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So we also have some Funkos. So and this is what we're looking at, the actual collector's items, right? So the average size is between like a 4 to 6 inch size, right? Bubble heads, non-bubble heads, right? Perfect for your desk. Now, if you're looking at a collector, now we have a 6-inch size, we have a 10-inch size, we have a 12-inch size. So now it might be a certain corner of your room that you're decorating. You might want that inside of it. You might want every single size, every different variation. That's also a part of it. So when we're looking at shipping, in the beginning when we first started, let's say going air freight for a few smaller items was great. Yeah. But now having graduated from that, we've done, I think, maybe about 7 different pop-ups at this point. By the way, I just want to give a big shout out to some of our people that have actually sponsored us along the way. Yeah. So definitely Lapas Club. I want to see a big shout out to Uncle Cal there. They've been amazing with actually pushing us. Even like Jay Madison, they've been amazing. So I just want to say thank you.
Okay.
Small businesses support each other.
Yeah.
Support each other. We grow together.
You have to.
But we actually had like a pop-up in Hamilton on Queen Street. during Christmas time. It went extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
That actually has now dictated the actual demand because this is where we actually have now found community.
Okay.
You know, so
which is important, right? You found your people or your tribe, so to speak, and those are the ones that are going to keep coming back. And I was going to ask you, like, where are you located? Where are you selling all of these? Because, like I said, my son loves them. My daughter loves them because he loves them. And then my husband, of course, still loves comic books, but right now he, he looks at it on the TV, the thing on it. Because where do you get them? Here, locally.
Yes.
And this goes back to where we all started. Because back in the day, there was a lot more of the selling of figurines, selling of comic books. Because after Heroes for Hire closed down, there was another place on Queen Street where Leisure Time used to be.
Yes.
So they opened up for a few years. But again, then there was another guy in the Emporium building.
Yes, I remember that one. We would go to that one.
But the problem is that when you're at a storefront then comes with rent.
Yes.
Right? Which, if you don't have a sufficient enough flow of individuals coming in and purchasing your items, you tend to do more so what we're doing right now, which is more so an online presence.
Okay.
Plus pop-ups.
That makes sense. I mean, you're keeping the overhead down because you already said that the shipping cost is high. So you got to manage kind of those overhead expenses where you can. And that makes sense.
So, so we've definitely... We've in Quartz Hotel to do a lot more pop-ups. Our goal is to try to do pop-up maybe almost every week.
Okay.
I do love being with my brother, so we love to hang out. He's my bestie. So I'm happy to work together and hang out with that.
I was gonna ask you, like, what is the dynamics like working with each other, right? Because I know how I am with my brother. He be getting on my nerves sometimes, and I get on his sometimes too. So how is it being business partners?
So I think this worked out really well so far. But it's because our personalities are almost polar opposites. Like Tunji's more like the drive, I gotta drive it home type guy, and I'm more like laid back, okay, chill. As long as it makes sense for me, then we can make it happen. And I appreciate the fact that his strong suit is marketing. Yeah, that's not mine.
Right,
I'm in business, so when it comes to the dollars and cents, that's when I would say, hey, Tunji, I think we need to
hold on a second. You gotta reel you in.
But when it comes to strategy, connections, that's his forte.
Right.
So it works out well because while we're polar opposites in a lot of different ways,
it works together.
Right. It's the same. And then I mean, Tunji and I have been really close as brothers anyway, so it does make it a lot easier. And then when you're gonna have difficult conversations,
of course,
period, whether in personal life or business. So because we don't shy on having like direct conversations, nothing's personal.
Yeah.
And obviously I know he has my best interests at heart and vice versa. It works out extremely well, truthfully.
I love it. I mean, when you think of a partnership made in heaven, I'm thinking maybe this might just be it because you know each other and you're bringing each of you your individual uniqueness to the table for the success of the business. So from that standpoint, what do you envision for the business? Like, what is your goal?
Well, so
I'll let Tunji speak. So piggyback off.
Okay.
So I mean, it can go a few different ways. So one, building community is actually important to us both. And then that actually comes with experience. So the experiences that we actually want to introduce would not just end at Funkos and comic books. It's like, where is the location to go to? Where is some sort of additional, how do I say this? Presence. Yeah, like it's how, like because I think a lot of times people look at just the actual product itself. But when you actually look in the US or in the UK, there are events. There are parties. There's a whole different level of experience that actually comes with not that, and the collectors actually get together. This is actually, it's not just about, let's say collectors are a bit nerdy. It's extremely mainstream. So a lot of that then comes with education. For everyone together to actually to see, how far you could take it. Like, let's get to the point where it's like we're actually going to the theaters together for the actual launches. Hey, let's have Funky Bros put that on. Let's get some people coming in to actually to read to everyone about like these new comics and stuff come out. Like that's offering the experience of of Funky Bros together. You know, so that's kind of where I would say we're looking at our 3 to 5 year plan. That's kind of like where we want to take it. Being a brick and mortar is great, offering experiences is great, but it is hosting that community and then growing that back to like what it used to be.
Right.
It's
Because
so
the people are still here. I think they're
they're
still
here,
here.
for
It's
sure.
just that they don't have, like you said, the
they have the
outlet
resources
and the resources. And where do they get it, right? How do we come together?
and they're happy.
Indeed.
Oh, okay. No, please.
No. I wasn't
Look
saying
at this
anything.
in action. I'm like looking at this camaraderie in action.
The only thing I would say, Tunji didn't mention that I probably in my vision would have also included because he articulated perfectly. Bermuda hasn't had a comic book convention. So
Look, I was thinking in my head, I said Comic-Con.
Comic-Con.
They do that in San Diego. I'm
Yep.
like, we could
Have
Bermuda
it
Con.
here.
exactly. So while we're miles away from that at this stage, and I'm not saying Funky Bros be the one to host the con.
Why
but I'm not saying we wouldn't, but
I
but at bare minimum have a significant presence at the
At
con.
the con.
You know.
Well, if you don't do it, who's gonna do it?
Well, I've spoken to an individual on island. I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to say her name on air only because
That's interested.
right, and
Okay.
she's actually made some headway toward it.
yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
And I had told her that I absolutely am on board. But that was before my brother and I actually teamed up and Funky Bros came about.
Okay.
So I do have to touch base with her just to see, what
If
that
it-
looks like.
yeah.
And if she hasn't made their strides forward, then I'm happy to start making those steps if needed.
But it's okay. I mean, if it's a partnership, like, we're also happy to do that together.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like I said, that's a big thing with us, especially when it comes to this experience, is working with a lot of other small businesses and then, pushing each other together, even individuals. I was like, because we have to grow,
Yeah.
and I was like, and bringing something special to the island is extremely important to us.
Yeah.
Being, joining up with Bermuda College with you guys,
Yeah.
with the city of Hamilton. I was like, this is all different things that we actually can offer to the island to actually just have us take a step forward. It doesn't just have to be about just events.
No.
It could be about all of it together.
And the
What's our
whole experience, right?
And this is why he's the marketing guy, right? So,
So I want to talk to you about the fact that, okay, as a collector, you know that space is an issue, right? So how and what do you recommend for things like that? Because I'm thinking about my own personal experience with my husband collecting comics and all that kind of stuff. It's like at some point, like you said, you gave some away because it just becomes so much. So is that even factored into your plan? Or once you sell it, you're like, that's on you. You got to sort out. Like, do you sell the cases? Do you sell, you see what I mean?
So I haven't gotten to the point where I've started to like order and bring in the cases.
Okay.
Some cases actually, as you can see with the Wonder Woman, some come already in like a plastic case. But we do have to start to order some of those cases because over time the cases do crack.
Yeah, where do you store
but
it?
in Bermuda, the biggest risk is actually not damaging the item or damaging the box. It's the climate. So
Yes.
in Bermuda, the dampness tends to destroy, especially with books. It turns like the book a yellow at a faster pace. It starts to crumble over time. So as far as an individual who does want to collect, or even if somebody wants to read something and say, you know what, I want to put this aside just in case it appreciates in value, the best advice I can give you, put it in a room that has air conditioning at all point in time. Keep it off of the floor, keep it off the walls, because Bermuda houses dampness.
Yeah,
All you need
exactly.
is dampness to transition over to the actual item, and the item gets damaged over time. But and just like shoes, because I'm a shoe head.
Yeah.
So
You're a collector at heart. So
he's the collector.
so you want to check on your products. If it's something that means anything to you, keep a watchful eye of it. Just on a monthly basis. You don't have to look at it and worship it, but at least pull it out, check it, make sure everything's okay. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing. And for us, so right now, I have a separate room in my home where I store most of the stuff and I keep it well ventilated. I check on it regularly. Just for now until we get a full-time storage unit. And then we can look at, because of course storage units come with a monthly cost.
Yeah.
So you jumping the gun and saying, hey, we're going to get a storage unit, and then having that additional expenditure before having a heavy flow of income.
Right.
It's just too much of a risk. So I say right now, I know for a fact I have the space. And then, you know, from there, once we get to a place where we're comfortable, then we'll venture out to the storage unit.
Okay. And I was gonna even say, you know how when people buy furs, they have like fur storage. If people still do that, and you know, PETA and all that kind of stuff. But I was just thinking in terms of providing an additional type of service or offering, maybe at some point in the future.
That'd be good for future
like,
business plan. Yeah.
Not everybody has an extra room where they can put their stuff and make sure that it's safe, but they want to keep it and they want to preserve it. Now you guys are providing the storage for your collectibles.
That would be a great dream.
That's a good idea, but it is taking on
liability. That's for free. You can have that one. It is a liability, but you know, there's like clauses and insurance and all that kind of stuff. But no, just thinking, because along with collecting, that is a reality, right? Absolutely. Where are you going to store it? And like you said, in Bermuda with the dampness, it's a lot, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think from the standpoint that you're selling the collectibles, you have to take those things into consideration, right? Because that's going to determine whether or not people keep buying or not.
Correct. And the value of some of these things, in particular the comic books, the older the comic book, the rarity of the comic book, it's going to determine how valuable it is. Some comic books can go up to $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Yeah, some
really.
Yeah, some of $1 million, depending on yeah. Like if someone said, "Hey, I want to get the first appearance of Superman, first appearance of Batman," this came on like the 1930s.
Yeah.
So something like that, if you have that in your possession, you absolutely need to get that graded and locked away in a safety deposit box.
Right.
Absolutely.
Wow, it's amazing. Like you wouldn't think of it. Like people would look and be like, "Oh, these are children's toys," but you're not children.
Not at all.
So it's just really interesting to understand the dynamics and the business opportunity that exists for that, right? Because you're passionate about it, you love it, so you're selling it from a place of experience and creating that experience for others as well. So it's exciting to learn about your journey and why you started it. And I guess, where can people find out more information if they're interested in purchasing or becoming part of the club? Do you have a club yet?
We are working on all of that. If you want to hit us up, we are on Instagram and on Facebook.
Okay.
So that's Funky Bros BDA on both. We have our WhatsApp group as well. So we have that's 905-9595. So that comes to us directly. We're currently working on our website, and we are hosting our next pop-up.
Ooh.
Next week.
Exciting.
On the 31st and the 1st.
Okay.
So look forward to that. We will announce the location hopefully this weekend. Or by tomorrow.
So do you guys participate in vendor markets as well?
So I feel like there's a vendor market happening on the 7th.
So we BEDC is having its small business expo on the 7th, and there is a vendor market component. So hopefully you guys,
we are there.
Oh, you're gonna be there.
Awesome. We're signed up. Yeah,
absolutely.
But then there are other ones. I know Bacardi is doing their annual Black vendor market on the 27th. I don't know if they still taking applications, but that's something that is really cool. Take a look at that. But I would think that, like you said, for your current business model with the pop-ups, then going to these, those are opportunities in addition to your individual pop-ups.
Yes, and our 3-month goal is, we are hoping, so what we're actually working on is actually doing an actual standardized pop-up at a location, and I'm hoping that actually happens in maybe like March, April.
Okay.
Hope to see us out during during May 24th, definitely during Easter. We are looking forward to actually doing a pop-up there. We will not announce that location, but if you follow us, you will see where the location is going to be.
Okay.
But I would say at least the goal is once or twice, if not 3 to 4 times a month.
Okay.
Pop-ups. So, and then each time, of course, the stock rotates as well. So we appreciate feedback. So any feedback that you have, if you want more realism, if you want more anime, which type of anime, we are very, very open. But we do have a large selection as well.
Okay.
So so just look forward to it and come check us out, and you'll see. I mean, our options. When I mean options, we probably, at this point, for our next pop-up, we will be showcasing, how many would you estimate, Mumbo?
I would say between 500 to 600.
different options.
Wow, that's amazing. All
It's a
right.
lot.
So I would say, just for our listeners, if there's anything in particular that you might be interested in, you can feel free to ask us if we have it, and we can let you know if we do have it. If we don't have it, let us know, and we can
Maybe you
let
could
you know.
special order it or something.
Exactly. We can
Okay.
order for you, but we obviously there will be a timeline attached to it.
Right,
because we
and
have
an
to order it.
additional expense. I said that they didn't, but
I wasn't gonna say because it could be a bit more
let me stop
costly.
minding y'all business.
But for us, for the most part right now, is make sure that our customers are happy and satisfied.
Correct.
And that they like the product.
Yes,
So,
yes.
So feel free. My brother and I are quite approachable. We're very friendly. So don't hesitate. You can say anything, ask anything. We're here for you.
And then there's also something that I didn't say about our personality split as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Mumba he's a pure collector,
Yes.
right? So when you're looking at something that's a bit more like high end, definitely Mumba has a great eye for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now for myself, I actually love affordability.
Mm-hmm.
I love affordability. I love cuteness.
Uh-huh.
So that's the type of experience that you're gonna get. So like, let's say you might not be like, well, I'm not like a huge collector like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, but you know what you do like? You might like something actually like pink and like fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually gonna be there.
Yeah.
You might like something large, and just decorative for your room. It's gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's kind of like that's the combination of us together.
I love it. Well, it's been a pleasure, Mumba. I don't know if I could call it that.
Mumba's cool.
It's been a pleasure learning about your journey, learning about how much you like these. I think that you are very correct that you're not alone. Your tribe is definitely here. I have 2 in my house. And so I will definitely be encouraging them to reach out and to follow you so that they know when the pop-ups are. I appreciate you coming on, and please do let me know when we're going to do the Bermuda Con, right? If that happens,
keep you posted.
you have to
Absolutely.
come back and let us know how that goes. But thanks again for minding your business with us. And remember, if you don't mind your business, who will?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you much.
You're welcome. Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.